welcome back. We are getting into the second game of, well, the second map, I should say, between these two teams. It is going to be, once again, Team Singularity versus Apeks. And it's on Vertigo. Apeks' map pick. We'll see Team Singularity starting out on that CT side, with Larson holding the kit, the smoke for him, and it's an aggressive push towards the A site, or rather the B site, to start things off. Freddy picks off one player. That's going to cause rotations, but they're just going to back off straight away. Head back over towards that A site. Team Singularity, they started rotating over, but they've heard the steps and they are back in position towards this A site. A push through Ivy. Let's see if they can find the shots, but it's Larson who gets the first. Does get traded out by Freddy, keeping Apeks in the advantage, but SMF's kill brings it into a 2-on-2. And now Cruz and Freddy just slowing things down. A minute on the clock. I think Freddy's trying to bait out that maybe they went towards that B site. Maybe try and bait some players in to his crosshair as his teammate Kreese is going to try planting up over on that A site. And now Freddy's hearing these steps. Kreese knows that they're going to be lower. At least one of them was. Vertigo will secure that kill. Kreese bags the other on Apeks with the pistol round going their way. Nice play there in the 2v2 to bait out that rotation from Singularity. Maybe should have stuck together in that situation. Both of them go ramp up, both of them go Ivy. Then they can trade the frag rather than having two individual one-on-ones. And then you're left in a 1v1 to end things off. But who knows? Maybe that could have gone even worse. As Team Singularity, they will force buy into things. Larson leaves himself a bit of extra cash for the AWP. $1,200 to his name. Iceberg's gonna eat a lot of 7.62 rounds there as he's down on 19 points of health, trying to guard mid, but push towards the A ramp. He's gonna net SMF a kill. Dennis, he's gonna catch Notton trying to escape. SMF, he's gonna fight back once again. Keeps things in a 3-on-3 as Freddy, he's dealt damage towards the A site and through the smoke. He predicts it perfectly. Iceberg caught by the spray. And SMF, he's going to look for the rotating player. Does find Kreese one-on-one against that AK-47. The MP9 will win it out, and it's left now Relaxer and Freddy Frog to try and secure this round. But these Singularity players, they're sticking together. They're heading over towards that B site. And that's going to mean they either elect to go for the save here when they hear the bomb planted, or maybe they try for the retake. SMF low on HP. Larson now with that AK-47. Utility will signal that it is the A bomb site, and Larson isn't even that far away, but no armor behind that rifle. He's going to have to hit some pretty quick shots here. If he wants to take down one of these players, it's an AK for Freddy Frog and Mac-10 for Relaxer. SMF going to start working up towards the Ivy position, clears that position out, and Larson can lob a flashbang for him to peek in with, and he will do so, clears it. Larson spots out Relaxer as my USB device disconnects. Freddy, he's been able to deal with SMF, and now surely Larson just goes for the save here. No kit, no time. It is going to be a second round for Apeks, but a costly one as they're going to have to rebuy 3 of their players up. They're going to allow Larson to save the AK as well. So that's a nice weapon they'll be able to take into the next round. Larson in no danger of being caught with that. So, an early 2-0 lead. But this AK could change the tide as Larson is going to equip some Kevlar to go along with it. SMF will have himself the armor and a deagle, another deagle for Notton as well. Just you know, they keep decent cash for the next buy round. SMF obviously getting a few kills with that SMG at $600 a kill. He had a bit of extra cash reserve, so he buys down just to match with his teammates. Larson tries to go for an opening frag, will get nothing though. And this hit towards mid serves up Apeks 3 yummy little kills there. And they'll even probably be able to recover the AK as well. But Dennis left on 2 HP, Kreese left on 4 HP. Singularity were oh so close to finding a couple frags from that. Excuse me. They were also close to finding a couple frags from that. But unfortunately, the tightest of margins not working out in their favour. Unless Remoy finds a kill here. Just get the dink. But the USP, not an instant kill against players with the head armor. So, Team Singularity now down 3, but they'll get the buy through this round, and they've been looking decent so far on the CT side in these few rounds. I mean, the pistol, a difficult one. It was very back and forth. They played it pretty well up until the end, and not even then, they didn't play it that badly. Pull-up round, they served up a lot of damage. Could have stolen the way around, but see with the guns out for them, and the AWP in Larsen's hands, which has been immediately taken away. It's just an instant hit towards the A site that Apeks are going to be able to sneak away 2 kills from. And Freddy Frog, he's taken the worst of the damage from Apeks, but he's still left with 40 HP, so Singularity have their work to do if they want to pull themselves back into this round, especially if they want to deny Apeks the saving that AWP. It's currently down over towards the sandbags. Because that could be a huge gift for Apeks. But Iceberg, he'll find one. Can't escape, though. As it's the quick trade from Grassan, the Norwegian, salvaging his team. And it's very quickly done. Freddy Frog will TK his teammate. But I'm sure it's for a good cause. As Apeks, they'll lose 2 players in that one. I don't think they actually saved the AWP. I think, yeah, Relaxer bought one up instead. But it is 4 on the board for Apeks. They should be able to find a 5th here. And once again, Freddy is having a strong start. 9-0 right now for him. Should all be pretty quickly done in this round. Not really sure there's much point even talking about it. It's 4 Deagles against these 5 fully armored weapons. But there's a nice Deagle shot from SMF there. That at least takes down one. It was just a Mac 10 player. So no rifle to be recovered, but maybe they could get that Mac 10, get a kill with it. It's a bit of extra cash, a bit of damage to the Apeks economy. And of course, you do have to rebuy armor, the utility, whatever you died with. It's still gonna mean a rebuy, but it's just not as impactful of a weapon that's been dropped. And Apeks looking in towards his A side. There is no defenders on the CT side here. It should be relatively simple now. Not only he'll salvage that Mac 10, gets a molly as well off the back of it, so could maybe deny a plant here. 45 seconds on the clock right now. They shouldn't be too worried about a molly denying the plant. There's nothing to chuck it in. It's going to delay a bit of time off the clock, but not much. There's now 30 seconds as it fades. They can start pushing in. And we've not dealt with. Relaxes AWP, seals that kill. That leaves just the 2 Deagles still over towards B, hoping that maybe they'd walk into the trap. I think Grassan will have heard that drop. Probably looks to find this player. Does get him. Finishes off Remoy as well. 3k for Grassan in the round. Nicely done, Apeks. They only lose that one Mac 10 player early on. The Deagle of SMF. And now is another chance for Singularity to start building the way into this game. Hopefully, not going to be a repeat of Overpass. It's 4 M4s. The AWP going to be coming against the 4 AKs and an AWP for the Apeks side as Remoy on a bit of a jump peak. Needs to be careful. And there we go. A few shots from Freddy Frog. Do incite Remoy just to back away. Doesn't want to stick around there. Get his head clipped off. May call for a rotation, maybe a bit of support from Iceberg from a flashbang or so if they do start to push, but it looks like they will be. A minute 25 on the clock. That flashbang comes through from Iceberg as he's forced off the boost. It is going to be contact from Apeks as Grassan has gotten deep in towards this site. They don't know he's here, and he's able to pick off Remoy. Doubles it up onto Iceberg. Couple quick shots coming through with just the 6 points of health that he has. Norton can at least find Kreese on that flank in towards mid. They'll upgrade onto the AK. Grassan still alive. That nade leaves him on 3. But it is now just SMF. As Apeks pick apart this defense. 1 versus 4 for the lone Singularity player to try and do something with. So I think he'll just try and keep hold of the 7-4. And he won't. Freddy Frog will take him down, and for Freddy, that's now double digits without dying. 10 and 0. Well played. I mean, especially when you consider on the Singularity side, right now Remoy is 0-1-6, Notten 1-0-6, and Larson 1-0-5. They need to find some frags Team Singularity, and Grossan, I mean, it's unfortunate, but Singularity just not expecting Grossan to already be that far in towards the site with the amount of utility that was put down. And it costs them dearly. 2 quick frags found by him on such low HP. But maybe Singularity can find something with this one, as 2 quick kills over towards the B site with that push from those players does net them a 3-on-3 at least. Damage done and AK picked up for Iceberg. There's my chair, a bit of a squeak. Apeks, they'll head over towards his A site. Relax are already out towards Ivy with that zoom banger. Cyclops mode enabled, hoping to find someone in the site. But it looks like Team Singularity, they're going to gamble towards B. If it's A, they'll probably just save. The AK, obviously a very valuable weapon. And Larson without armor or really a viable weapon. He has a deagle that could find damage given the right circumstances. These are not very good circumstances. Maybe pick up an early frag, but looks like they actually might go for this. No kit, so they have to be quick about it. Flashbang from Larson might be able to open up a frag out towards Ivy as they push forward, but nobody's there. They do get control, though, and that's important. That isolates one position that these Apeks players could be from. An Iceberg doing wonders with that AK. Finds one frag, but Kreese from the sandbags has eliminated both his teammates. And Relaxer will deny Kreese the 3rd kill for himself, as it's Apeks 7 and 0. But, I mean, a few kills found in that round where they only had a couple SMGs, a few deagles coming into it. Damage done. Maybe not as much as they'd hope, but it's at least to the point where Apeks aren't going to be building up economy on a round like that. They do have to invest more than they actually get back from the round. But right now, over 10 kill and 3 players. Nice opening from the Singularity side. There we go, there's some life. Remoy and Iceberg pick a piece towards the B site. Gives the Singularity side a 2-man advantage, and surely this will be the first round on their board for them, and then we can all laugh at 7-1. Even though neither of these teams are German or Brazilian, so there's that. Surely you can't come down or come back in a 3-on-5 unless Singularity give up a kill. And they might just do here. Notten walking into the open for Relaxer, who's going to find SMF as well. And no, surely not like this. Singularity. Larson, he's still about in towards the site. Kreese did spot his arm out. A lot of damage done, but not the kill. Still doable for Singularity here, especially with Larson picking up that frag, taking down Kreese, and bringing Singularity back into the advantage. Remoy, he hasn't moved off the B site yet. With the bomb going down, he will. Iceberg and Larson, they're both taking a decent chunk of damage, both below 50 HP for Larson. That's not too much of a worry. He's got the AWP. And with Dennis close by, around the edge of the smoke, he's just going to hold mouse 1, pick up 2 kills. And that leaves Remoy, who already has a kill to his name. 1 versus 2. Tagged up to just 2 HP. Right, Relaxers up. Lucky to be alive, in fact. The round should already be over, but it might just be Dennis going for a knife kill. Oh, God. Please, not like this. But instead, just try and catch him escaping. Remoy, can his little feet carry him far enough away? Looks like he should just be fine. It is going to be 8-0 for Apeks, and pulling it back off a 2-man deficit. Impressive. That A site, a little bit lacking, you could say. Giving up easy frags there against the AWP of Relaxer. We do have a timeout, a tactical timeout called here. Why did I say I meant technical? A technical pause. called here. For Apeks, they do have a player disconnected from the server. So for Apeks, everything looking good for them to take this 2-0. This is, of course, their map pick as well. That's for Apeks. The Swedes just waiting for the Norwegian to get back in the server. Grasan. Hopefully it won't be a long issue. But it's a worry if, you know, power disconnects or internet goes down, something like that. If that's the issue, that could be a more long-term thing that we need to wait out. But for Singularity, the start of this Esea Premier season, not really going how they expected. They were initially in advanced. They were scheduled to take part in Esea Advanced. We're still trying to build up a team as that sort of came around. Had to delay a couple matches as they tried to complete the roster. And as far as I'm aware, I'm not sure if it's still a fully complete roster that they're going with here, but the free game is played now for them. Unless they have plans to change, it's looking like it's probably going to stay that way, at least for the foreseeable future. I mean, obviously, you can't expect a team to gel instantly. They've only played, what, 3 officials now? I'll double check that, though. Just make sure. I mean, like, I guess if you say Remoy, Iceberg, and Notten, I guess as a core, they were there sort of last season. They played in the relegation for MDL. So, I guess you could say that the core has been together for a while, but not really played much. There's been a lot of changes to the Team Singularity side, even during that last sort of period. So, for them, there's still time to work things out. See if they can start to get a handle of things, though, as obviously a very new team with SMF and Martin moving in, and 2 players is a big change either way. So, it's not the worst thing in the world so far. As Remoy, as we get back into things, the AWP in his hands, saved obviously from the previous round, does actually pick up an opening kill into Relaxer, and that's maybe why Dennis should have chased a bit harder against Remoy. I'm surprised he didn't, to be honest. Considering Relaxer had tagged him super low and it was just 2 HP. Obviously, they weren't to know that, but Remoy is doing even more damage. Now down goes Grasan. So a 2-man advantage for Singularity yet again. This time, it's a few pistols. Larsen's going to salvage that AWP that went down towards the A ramp. That's now in his hands. He wields it watching towards mid through that boost. Could Singularity find themselves a first round here in Vertigo? And 2-man advantage. Remoy is looking pretty decent, pretty sharp with the AWP right now. 2 kills found for him, and hoping that he can find a bit more, as it looks like they'll be heading in towards the site he's currently positioned at, which is the A site. He's been very mobile this round. An opening frag towards A, then one towards mid, now back towards A. We'll see if he can find more as a push comes through. A beautiful flashbang allows SMF 2 on the Deagle, and it's all up towards Dennis and Singularity. Just what the doctor ordered for them, as they finally get themselves on the board. A crisp 1 for them, alongside that Danish flag, and Remoy mostly to thank for that one. A beautiful flashbang going through as well, allows SMF those 2 Deagle shots. And if Remoy and SMF can now start bagging and tagging, obviously it is just 1 round, but if they can start bagging and tagging, they could bring Singularity back into this one and maybe ignite a few of these other players on the Singularity side. And SMF is certainly hoping to do that. 2 quick kills come through. It just rushes down ramp. Notton, he found one as well. And okay, Singularity, off the back of that technical pause, have come out swinging. Impressive stuff. Larson posted up with the orb as well, hoping to find more. He picks off Relaxer. Now it's all up towards Kreese, who will finally deal a blow. It is Larson to fall. If 1v3 found now for the Swede, but 3 players surely too far of a stretch. Singularity should be able to find a second on the board. Iceberg almost caught out, chipped down to 40 HP. But Remoy on the back lines. Catch Kreese. He tries to check for him. Singularity do find a second. SMF, okay. So just yeets himself down the A ramp. Flashbang to assist. And Singularity realize that flashbangs do in fact blind up the enemies, and it makes your kills a lot easier. So there's that. See if Singularity can continue this, though, as this is the first time, I think, in this series that they've found consecutive rounds now. They're going to ease up on the aggression for this one. Notton's still looking for a frag towards the A ramp, but he's not gone aggressive. He needs to be careful of Grasan close range. He will pick him off, so the opening frag this time does go the way of Apeks. They've secured control of the ramp. That's forcing the rotation of Larson over towards A to try and assist SMF, who's currently punched over by those sandbags and not spotting any sort of follow-up from Apeks. Just rightly so, because they are headed over towards that B site with a more concerted effort. But Kreese, look at where he's gotten to. He's just about eluded Remoy's gaze, who was shifting between these 2 positions towards mid. And now Singularity, they're trying to find a fight back into this one, but Freddy Frog will deny it. Iceberg, he falls, and it's SMF and Larson all on their own. So as it's now a 2v5. A couple of players are low for Apeks, so maybe damage could be found, but seeing Singularity surely need to save this AWP in the M4. Not sure how effective a save is going to be here, or how realistic it is, rather. With a player over towards the A ramp, a player in mid, and a few players towards the B site. Not really any directions they can go to from their current position over towards CT. They might just have to frag their way out of here. Wait and see. Larson goes down. SMF able to keep himself alive, though, and does keep hold of that AWP. So, at least something brought out the round for Singularity. I mean, they're not completely out of Vertigo yet. 9-2, a 7-round deficit. If they can find a few more rounds here, the T side is certainly going to be a lot easier for them. Apeks, a gaggle of them over towards that B site, ready to attack. There's Remoy with the AWP, who's opened up a couple rounds now for Singularity. That smoke is not what they hoped for, I don't think. Apeks, I don't think that was where it's meant to land, unless this is some sick one-way that we're about to learn. But I think it was more likely a missed smoke, and Remoy is going to find the head of Freddy. So the AWP does once again find an opening pick. This Team Singularity, they actually have 3 players currently positioned over towards B. That nade from Notton perfectly timed, but not in the right position. All those remaining Apeks players elude the nade's damage now. They're just shift walking up the ramp. Is this going to catch Singularity out towards this A site? They have Larson on the AWP. That Molotov will give away the jig, surely, alongside that smoke. But Larson, is he going to peek into the crosshair of Grasan? They spot him out, and Grasan playing just the pixel angle. He knows his lineups on Vertigo as Larson, he gets his head plucked away, removed from this round. And Ivy now given over towards the Apeks side that Kreese will gleefully exploit for another kill. That Molotov is good. 10 seconds on the clock. The Apeks side, they need to get this bomb planted. 7 seconds as they go for it again. Remo trying to deny it. Can't find the shots as Dennis picks him off. And following up with a second, it's SMF falling. And Iceberg, the last player alive, maybe could find some damage here. A couple of players not looking his way. He gets 2. But it's just too many for him to deal with. A 1v4. And it is Singularity not able to continue success off of Remoy's opening pick there. It's a 4v5 that Apeks bring into a victory. They actually only... They didn't lose anybody, essentially, from the back of that 4v5 into a position where they were winning where they were guaranteed to win the round, essentially. With Iceberg a 1v4, there's literally no way you can win that round. Larson with the AWP, hoping to replicate some of Remoy's success over by the B side with that weapon. That is double digits for Apeks. Nice opening for that aforementioned AWP. Takes down Freddy Frog. A player who's been so sick for Apeks in both these maps. I think he started out 10-0 in this game. Apeks now sit 10-2. So advantage for Singularity in terms of the manpower won't last much longer until Notan with the Deagle. His name says it, and certainly his game says it as well. As Kreese fights back for one more kill, but it's still a man advantage for Singularity. With Dennis left all on his lonesome, a 1v2. Notan will finish off through the scaffolding, and it is Singularity picking up a third out of nowhere. Again, it's the AWPs finding opening kills for Singularity. This time, with the lesser weapon, they are actually able to pick it up, and a third on the board for them. I mean, now you're into a position where you can put up a fight in the second half. You're not going to be down and out completely. If they can find a couple more rounds before the half is out, a 10-5 would be obviously the best they can achieve here. Wouldn't be a great scoreline, but it'd certainly be a scoreline where you can still make your T-side work. He's going to be lurking in towards mid, and that's a quick shot. Iceberg absolutely railed by the AK Kreese. But either way, still doom and gloom for Singularity here. Lost their opening map pick. Pretty convincingly as well. Apeks 16 and freed them. Not a single round found on the T side, and now, or on the CT side rather, now they do have themselves one kill, but Remoy instantly traded. It's still Apeks in the advantage. Croissant, how has he found that shot? How is that a reasonable shot? It's not. That's the crux. It's not a reasonable shot. And it's won Apeks this round. It's now a 4v2. Croissant is going to get that bomb down. 11 on the board for Apeks. Just a matter of time. Maybe Larson can pick up a kill here. It's a tag onto Croissant that does like about 20 damage with the AWP. Must have clipped him through the edge of those scaffolding. What do they call those? Like construction pillars, the rebar, concrete, whatever. You know the things I mean. 11-3, one more round to play for, and Singularity going to be thankful that they carried that AUG and the AWP into this next round, as the AWP's really been the only thing that's been providing openings for Singularity in this game. SMF did have that just straight baller move where he ran down a ramp, found 2 kills with an M4. You know, that's an option for Singularity, just something unorthodox to get your opening kill. Notan doesn't even have any armor, though, so he has an M4, no armor to go along with it. I don't know how that's happened, but it has. And yeah, this is going to be a difficult one. So Remoy, but once again, he is traded out, not able to get out of that position. It is a relatively one-and-done situation. That Molotov will hold them back, but actually, Grease is just going to run through it, gets himself deep in towards the site, and does take down the AWP, but Iceberg's there for the instant trade. He's going to wield that gun himself. And the rest of the Apeks side, they didn't push in with that. He tried to push through with a flashbang. He's completely blinded up by relaxers, though. And he just sat in the open, ready for Apex's delicious buffet. And SMF, he can only manage one. Tries the 1v3, but it's going to be 12-3 once again for Apeks. This time it's on their home map pick of Vertigo as they'll switch over towards the CT side, while Singularity, they'll try their hand on the offense. It's a difficult situation for them. They showed signs of promise against Gamer Legion last week, Singularity, but seems Apeks just a different kind of beast, all in all. As we do get back into things very quickly. Apeks, I think, hoping to close this one down in a similar fashion to Overpass. See if they can pretty much wrap this one up in a bow with a pistol round here. Relaxer, he'll have himself the defuse kit. Smoke as well. Larson will be the one wielding utility for the Team Singularity side. The rest of the players on just a set of Kevlar. And it's aggression in towards mid. They're going to try and wrap in towards that B site, but little do they know, 3 players in this position already. It's not going to matter, though, for Singularity. They do find a few shots between them. They'll clear out the site, give themselves a 4-on-2, and leave Dennis and Grassan try and pick this one up. No kit on the remaining 2 players, but there is one dropped in the site somewhere. A nice shot from Grassan. Gives hope, but not San. Quick trade. It's all up towards Dennis now. 1 versus 3, but again, he can find a shot. These last 2 players, they're just going to play for the bomb now. They don't want to give this one up, as it is planted in a position they can just play with. Often he's going to go aggressive, though, and the bomb not going to get defused. Dennis going to fall, and Team Singularity going to keep their hopes alive here on Vertigo as they find a 4th round. Now they just need the follow-up. Hope they don't screw that up. Maybe just try working a few more rounds out of this game. Currently sitting 8 rounds behind Apeks. It is a long way to go. A lot of rounds in a row if you don't allow Apeks to find any. And if they do find a round here or there, it just makes your struggle a little bit more difficult. But at least they have that little bit of a buffer to help them. It's not going to be instant if Apeks pick up a round here. Nice nade from Grassan to fight back with one. Trying to escape, but they will eventually get caught. Team Singularity to keep themselves in a man advantage. The SMGs farming a bit of cash for this T side. Obviously $600 a kill per for the SMGs. And the AK is pretty succinct as well with their kills. SMF deals with Dennis, and it leaves just Freddy Frog, who's been a heavy hitter. Hoping to maybe find a cheeky kill out of this, maybe salvage a weapon, something, just to because obviously Singularity right now, they sit with 3 guns alive. If they lose one more in this situation, they're going to be reinvesting more than they're gaining. So it's not going to be... It's going to hurt their economy rather than help it. And that smoke just to try and keep some Singularity players around. But obviously without Dennis, or without Freddy Frog actually tapping the bomb, they're not going to stick around and like, obviously run into the smoke knifing and spraying, hoping that they find the kill. No, they're just going to back away and be like, okay, well, you just used up a smoke for no reason. That's sort of what they go for. I think maybe Freddy was hoping they'd be too far away to hear whether the bomb was being defused. Just something like that, perhaps. And, well, that's not good. Nottingham's just knifed SMF in the back. Luckily, it wasn't a right click, so 30 damage done. And hopefully, against these pistols, it's not going to matter too much. But it could certainly make things a little bit tastier. Perhaps open up a kill or 2 for Apeks. But Nottingham's the one with the opening. Making up for his sins, I guess. Apeks, he will find one on the Deagle. That's Grasan. At least enough to bring it back into just a one-man disadvantage with his AKs. Should be able to clean up the round. Iceberg, he'll get that trade kill onto Grasan, bring it back into a two-man advantage. And these last two players, a P250, a USP for Dennis and Kreese. Not really all too much, and that molly, well, that's meant to go behind the sandbags, I think. Does just mean they're going to have to commit to clearing it out, which they do so. Not much lost in terms of the molly, but it should be pretty all said and done here. Don't know how Kreese found that shot, but he does. So, again, 2 players found by Apeks. 3 surviving for Singularity. It's 3 AKs carried forward. Apeks not finding anything in that one, but in terms of carrying guns through. But they do get the full buy through this time. Relaxing with the AWP, a few M4s, the AUG for Dennis. Now they hope to cut this comeback short from Singularity. He's going to drop down. He gets instantly found. Freddy at least traded out, but Iceberg, he brings it back into that advantage for Team Singularity. And that's both the B defenders down. A rotation does come through from Apeks. Even Dennis in that B site. Kreese to hold in towards mid. Finds Notan. That's a good kill to find. That secures this B site into just the forward direction. And with Dennis just sitting over by quad, him and Kreese, they'll mop up that offense, leaving SMF all on his lonesome in towards mid. And maybe he could find some damage here. If he could find a 1v3, that would be pretty exemplary. Spots that one, but not the kill found. They now know where he is. Nice shot on towards Dennis, though. Looking for Kreese. He's been tagged down to 50. Kreese low as well. Similar HP for both of them. Hassan, he's in front of SMF as well, so SMF doesn't need to worry about looking behind. Not that he'll know that. He's just trying to find these shots, trying to isolate that player that he spotted out, but caught in the open with a nade in his hand. And Kreese finds a perfect time to peek out. And it is 13 on the board for Apeks. 2 players survive that one. And Team Singularity, they found 3 in a row. Can they bounce back now? They have cash for a few of their players. Norton and Larson not really got the cash to invest, but they're going to go for it. They're going to buy into this one. Surprised Remoy doesn't drop a Galil or something. Maybe an AK for a teammate. He does actually now just buy an AK up for one of his teammates. I think maybe could have dropped an SMG, a scout or something for Notan. Or even just a Deagle that Notan has already. And then Notan could have gotten some utility up for himself. But it is what it is. And for Singularity, looking in towards mid, SMF and Notan. They've got a couple players to deal with if they do commit to this. Actually, just the one now. Kreese will back away from the angle, support that player in towards the B site. Lax is going to swing in to mid instead to help. So 2 players once again in this position, and that could be deadly for Team Singularity. Even if they pick off the first, surely the trade will come through. And at best, I guess Singularity will have themselves a even 3-on-3 perhaps. At worst, maybe a 5-on-3 in Apeks' favour. But pretty slow start as Team Singularity now start approaching in towards mid. They do a little bit of damage onto Kreese, who's able to catch Notan, trying to jump his way through the boost position. A triplet of kills from Apeks, and Kreese is going to make it a quartet. Maybe not a string quartet, but it's enough. As Apeks close out the round and find 14. It's looking like this may be the end of the line in this game for Singularity. 14-6. And it's a single AK for Iceberg. 4 Deagles alongside it. Hoping to find an opening kill. And SMF is going aggressive. He's had a couple of these aggressive rounds that have worked out in Singularity's favour. Iceberg, he's the one who finds the opening though. And somehow, somewhere, the Deagles are finding shots. gives them a 2-man advantage all in all. as both Larson and SMF, they found a killer piece on the Deagles. It's Grassan and Kreese left to try and mop up what's left of this round. Or try and fight back, I guess, rather than mop up. And Singularity, they haven't committed to a site yet. Singularity might just be able to stay in this one, but with Grassan getting a kill, there's more damage being done towards these Singularity players, and they need to keep these 3 alive on the Singularity side. It is just Grassan, 1 versus 3, so we'll see if he can find any damage. They don't have the bomb, Apeks, or Team Singularity rather. I mean, neither do Apeks, I guess. It's down in mid right now. Grassan, I think, will have had that called out to him. He might actually be able to find 2 kills here. Oh, this timing. Oh, this timing. He gets 1. Not Remoy, though. But actually, yes, he will. The repeat from Remoy. And this could be disastrous. Is SMF going to be able to close it down? No, he isn't. Grassan. 1v3s. Apeks onto map point. Oh, no. That is disastrous. And Singularity. Oh, it could have been 7. They could have been in heaven. They could have been staying alive in this game. But now it's 5 Deagles, hoping they can replicate a bit of the magic they found at the start of that previous round. It's unlikely, though. Those rounds aren't consistent. Those are situational rounds. A certain set of unfortunate circumstances for the CT side, as Kreese is going to light it up this time. An opening kill for him. And now Apeks, just 4 more Deagle players to take down. That's all they need to secure a convincing second win in the Esea Premier. Iceberg boosted up. He does get the shot onto Dennis. A quick trade from Freddy is good. As Freddy looks for more, he is actually going to get taken down. So Singularity, they'll bag themselves a 3-on-3. There's Grassan, he's going to try and deny them that. As an AK spray, it's good. It's actually Remoy who shoots his teammate in the back of the head. That's not going to help, because it's going to actually send them to the doldrums, as it's Grassan closing it down. 16-6 for the Apeks side, and a few rounds that Singularity are going to want to try and have another go at in that game, but there's no chance for that, as it's a 3rd loss for Singularity. Struggling so far in Esea Premier, but there's still plenty of games left to go. And, I mean, there's some promising signs. Game Legion last week it's looking like they were on a high, but fortunately against Apeks here, they're just a much tougher beast, and for Singularity, a beast that they couldn't deal with. That's all from me today. I'll see you next week, I believe, with another Esea Premier game from Team Singularity. In the meantime, make sure you follow at Team Singularity on Twitter, as well as me if you want, at DanChanCSGO. It would be great. But thank you to everyone who's tuned in, and I'll see you next time.